Everyone who's had the pleasure of knowing Emmy knows how much she loves children and how much children love her, for that matter. Whether she's teaching aspiring ballerinas or uplifting foster children through dance, it is very clear that she is meant to be a mother, which makes it all the more heartbreaking that she lost her ability to carry her own children in 2014.
I went to the emergency room with a terrible stomach ache and thought best case scenario, maybe it was food poisoning, worst case scenario, maybe appendicitis. They believed it to be a uterine sarcoma, and they encouraged me strongly to go ahead and have my uterus taken out with the tumor because they were afraid that it might spill back into my body. However, they did surgery, and what they had believed to be uterine cancer was actually a benign fibroid, not cancerous whatsoever. And I was, of course, relieved that I didn't have cancer. But the depth of grief I felt at not being able to carry my own children was devastating, and still is devastating. Motherhood is something that I had always foreseen. And like Martin said, you ask anybody and they'll tell you kids are my whole life. I teach dance, I am an artist and a painter, and everything I do basically is just a platform to build relationships with kids. So fast forward a few years, and this guy came into my life, and to say that he changed it is, it just sounds stupid. It's such an understatement. I was completely smitten from our first date, and that was before I knew what he did. The next day, I learned that he was this super talented opera singer who graduated from Juilliard and who sang at Carnegie Hall and all across the world. And I was like, okay, I don't really know what he's doing on this date with me. But, there was also this just kind of constant anxiety that he was going to disappear at some point. I really thought that time came when in September of last year, he told me that he wanted to have children. I literally thought he was breaking up with me.
Yeah, so what I was actually doing was saying that I wanted to have kids with her. I was obviously aware of the challenges that we would face, but I knew I wanted to marry her, even though I hadn't told her that yet. And there was no one else on earth that I would rather have raise my children. So here we are.
So I just never in a million years would have guessed that he was asking me to consider surrogacy. It seemed like such an impossibility in my mind. So we kept brainstorming, we kept dreaming about it, and then in 2021, the funding came for us to take at least one leg of our journey. My father passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2019, and he left me an inheritance that was enough for us to do a couple rounds of IVF and egg retrievals, and create a couple of beautiful miracle embryos. So we've taken our first steps. We have done one full round of IVF and egg retrieval. We are preparing as we speak to do a second egg retrieval. And just those on their own, I wouldn't have been able to afford on my own without my father's help. Because at the end of this round, that will have been about $50,000 that we've spent. Now we've done that, and we have to move on to actually finding a surrogate and paying for that process, which is, an average of $100,000 to $150,000. So start to finish, from embryo creation to birth, we're looking at about $200,000 just to be parents.
So now we're at the point where we are asking for your help. We were able to create embryos but the cost, as you can imagine, considering those numbers, is out of reach for us at this point. So with that in mind, we ask you, in lieu of birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and wedding gifts,
Forever and ever.
forever and ever, exactly, we ask that you grant us the greatest gift that you could ever give us, which is a contribution to help grow our family and make us parents. So you can donate by visiting our GoFundMe link or by emailing us at bakaribabyfund@gmail.com. And feel free to share our story with your friends and family. We thank you for listening to our story, and we sincerely hope that you will choose to become a part of it.